Hey there, I'm Eric Faisal, a solutions architect with the Alexa voice service. I'm here to talk about the new Smart Home over AVS capability. This is a new capability that launched in the 1.17 version of the AVS Device SDK and allows you to support smart home directives directly through the AVS down channel. What that means is rather than having to build a separate smart home skill with a Lambda function and some sort of IoT or device cloud capability to be able to control your connected devices, if you are running the AVS Device SDK, you can actually declare those capabilities and receive commands to control devices directly from that AVS Device SDK. I have a light bulb here that is connected to a USB port connected to my computer. And specifically, it's this light bulb here that I got off of Amazon.com. And the reason I got this one is because you can control it via via command line. It was very simple, very quick. It came right out of the box. There's a GitHub project. So for instance, if I were to run there's a variety of commands that are available. So for instance, if I wanted to turn on the light, I could just simply run this. I can turn on the light from the command line. So, or turn off. Well, that's great. Well, now we can control this through Alexa as well using the AVS Device SDK. So if I take a look, so over here, I have my AVS Device SDK. I'll go ahead and start it up. So I can, of course, do things like, I'll tap to talk here. What time is it?
The time is 10:47 a.m.
Great, thanks. So we have in here, I have enabled a little bit of logging. So as you know, devices communicate with the Alexa voice service via events and directives. And we have a variety of events coming back, events going to AVS, directives coming back. So for instance, one of the main directives that you'll often see are things like the speech synthesizer.speak, which is text-to-speech coming back with Alexa's voice to be played back on your device. Well, we can actually use some of these to control our light bulb. So for instance, this light bulb in the AVS Device SDK, it's called Disco Ball. So I could say, Alexa, turn on Disco Ball. And it turns on. Similarly, I could just say, Alexa, turn off Disco Ball. Great. So we can see in here, in our sample app, we've got power controller saying turn off. And more specifically, we have our directive header, which is the Alexa power controller, turn off. And in this case, there's no body. So let me walk you through how some of this works a little bit. So if we go to the device SDK for 1.17, and it's a couple steps, but ultimately we would go to the release notes. And on the release notes for version 1.17, came out in December, we see that there's support for the following controller capabilities through Smart Home. So we have mode, range, power, and toggle. These are all features that you could do through a Smart Home skill, but also now through our AVS Device SDK. And when we click on here, we talk through kind of some of those examples, a little bit more what they are. So power controller is what we just demonstrated. You can turn something on or off. Toggle, switch it back and forth. You will see when we open up the app how some of that is different. Range, setting of from minimum to a maximum value, and mode, which allows you to set different modes, self-defined values of modes that you can set. And to enable this, if you've built the SDK before, it's incredibly simple. All you need to enable the Disco Ball sample is this one single extra line, enable all endpoint controllers equals on. So that's what I've done. Now, what I want to show you is in my device SDK, you will now see within the sample app, you have the mode, range, power, and toggle controllers here. So for instance, if I go to the power controller handler, I just made a very simple hack. All I did was I added a system command on my Mac OS, perhaps not the most most efficient, but for a demo, it's certainly quite easy. And all I'm doing is I'm calling that blink tool and turning it on. Another example, if we take a look at the mode controller, I've called out, again, this is not the cleanest code, but it's more direct. It's fairly obvious. So we would see set mode to, so we support green, red, and blue. So we go back to our sample app. We could say, Alexa, set disco ball to red. There we go. Or Alexa, set disco ball to green. And the other great thing is that we'll actually see this as a device in the sample app. So I've got my app here, and we could see that it's saying we've got our power at the top, range, brightness, I'm not using that today, light, and the mode, and then the toggle at the bottom. So it's reporting the status as green. So Alexa, set disco ball to blue. And we will see in the app that it changed. Now it is not necessarily live. It does polling. You can see on the left of my screen, it's doing a report state status. And so it's going to query and see what color the light is being stored by our SDK. And so let's try changing it back to green. And there we go. Now, in this case, I don't fully have the power and the mode synced up. So it says power is off. So I'm going to turn it back on. Now I'm going to, Alexa, turn off disco ball. And now the app has synced up. The other great thing is that because this is a smart home device, you can sync it up with routines. So for instance, I have just created a routine called idea. So now I could be, Alexa, I have an idea. There we go. So this has been the new smart home over AVS capability, which greatly simplifies the ability for an Alexa built-in device to be able to control ranges, modes, toggles, and power directly on the device. With that, we hope you found this interesting, and we can't wait to see what you build.